ladies and gentlemen. This is Internet personality Vangelus. Won't you join me in the darkness as we take a look at the Hell Brothers, PunchHopper and KickHopper? The very first SHFiguarts release is to break away from Kamen Rider the First and the Next, and by that, also the very first Kabuto SHFiguarts. These guys were a pretty legendary release to me because, up until then, the only really decent toys of the Hopper brothers were the motion revives. And I think that these two really helped catapult SHFiguarts forward onto the path of success that it enjoys today. Yaguruma and Kageyama are very nicely represented here, despite being some of the original Kabuto body Figuarts. I think they pull off a lot of great stuff. I dare say actually some better stuff than a few of the later Kabuto Figuarts releases. The PunchHopper and KickHopper share a lot of parts, but they do have a unique arm and a unique leg, respectively. And their chests, I don't believe, were replicated anywhere. So these guys do have a fair number of unique parts, despite being the Kabuto body. They also have some gorgeous compound eyes, and were, to me, the debut of the compound eye on a mass level, because I'd assumed that perhaps, these compound eyes, maybe they're just for, Kamen Rider the Next, it's a movie tie-in, they're putting some extra money into it. No siree. The Brothers of Darkness can see you extremely well. These guys each have a very special extra bit of posability outside of the normal Kabuto bodies, and they do have the full Kabuto body range, and were, I guess, the guys to debut it. And I think they pulled off a lot of posability better than the First and the Next bodies. I think the First and the Next riders were a great template, but these guys did a lot more to break out of and improve that. They have their funny little punch and kick enhancer things, their little Grasshopper Legs, and these things do move completely. They have full jointage to replicate the one or two times you actually saw these move in the show, and unfortunately, PunchHopper's little additional leg here comes off really easily. It's a bit of a flimsy connection, so you gotta be careful with that. And KickHopper's is a lot beefier, a lot bigger, and a lot more solid. And I love it. It's one of the first times where I sat there and went like, man, Figuarts does go all out. Also, they each have a unique belt design, and that's another place where I think that these guys could have cheaped out and didn't. As you can see, their Zectors are the proper swapped-sided Hopper Zectors, with gorgeous clear plastic jewels over the centers. Their accessory counts are basically identical. You've got some calm open hands for when they're just chilling out and thinking about how dark they are. And some splayed hands. These are, of course, differently colored on the knuckles. So no expense was spared, and by expense I mean a stripe of paint. And they each come with a bowl of gritty Aniki ramen. The Ramen Bowls are actually really detailed. The lids have full-on labels, and I wasn't even aware you could print in that high a quality and still make the toys affordable, but it looks like you can. That was a really nice touch, and that was one of the first times where Figuarts went like, hey, by the way, we're gonna give you fan-wank accessories. So on their own, the Hopper brothers are a really solid package apiece. The thing is that you really can't own just one, in my opinion. When you have one, you need the other one. I mean, maybe you can get away with just having KickHopper, but PunchHopper on his own? That's just depressing. I mean, you can lack the Aibo, but you need the Aniki if you have the Aibo. You Kisama Tachi. Since these are the original releases of these guys, they also came with Tamashii stage stands before Tamashii stage stands were actually purchasable. So each one is customized to the rider it was meant for. Here's PunchHopper's with a quote of his that I don't actually know what it says at this time of recording. And interestingly enough, even though these are Tamashii stage stands, they didn't come with the full range of attachments. Like, you can put the clips up here on this jointed part, or you can have them on this clip-in bit there. So this can kind of be either an Act 1 or Act 2 Tamashii stage. And here's KickHopper saying something about you being really nice. There were multiple stands for each Hopper, and I believe it was randomized, much like the recent Ixa release, as to which one you got. And unfortunately, re-releases of the Hopper Hell Brothers do not come with those stands. However, they remain upright quite well on their own, so you don't really need the stands.
It's just a nice bonus if you manage to get a hold of one of the original run of these guys. And do you need to get these guys? If you collect Figuarts, I would actually say, yes, you do. You can skip all of Kabuto if you want. You know, you might hate Kabuto and want to skip a lot of it. That's cool. But the Hopper Hell brothers are a bit of Figuarts history, and in my opinion, they stand on their own regardless of their backstory in Figuart form. They are very dead solid Figuart releases, and are such a characterful pair that they really need to be on a shelf. I mean, I guess I have slight bias because I do enjoy these two, despite their somewhat short-lived appearances in Kabuto, but I think that these guys are more quintessential to a display than any of the other Kabuto riders, including Kabuto himself. They just ooze character, and thanks to the Figuarts body, they can display a lot of that character through very subtle neck motions or completely wildly obvious neck motions like what I'm displaying here. So the Hopper Hell brothers I would highly recommend. They are full of unique parts, they stand very well on their own, and they do not need to be displayed with a whole other series of guys to feel like they need a place on your shelf. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus with A Trip into the Darkness, and a review of the Hopper Hell brothers. I hope it was helpful to you in some way. But if it didn't, then fear not, for it's time to meet the man who stands at the top of being an action figure.